do that yesterday. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mouth of Manliness.
Hello.
We were on the radio yesterday in England on BBC Essex.
Check you out.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. And I really wanted to do Welcome to the Mouth of Manliness at the beginning of it, but it really didn't seem appropriate at all.
It was not that kind of vibe, mate, was it?
No, it weren't. It was, it was great.
It was very professional.
It was very
from the
professional.
BBC.
Yes. So, we have got a Mouth of Manliness first today, which I'm very excited about. The Mouth of Manliness would like to formally welcome our first female, Helen Murphy.
Hello.
Is it on you? You're being filmed. Hello, Helen.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Our first lady, which actually is really, really great because like you're one of my favourite women.
And what's
So
cool as
to have
well
you on-
is you're definitely like, I would say, like top 5, top 10 of ultimate super fans as well. Like
Thanks.
You share
Do I
all
get
our
like a
stuff.
badge or something?
Yeah, we'll sort that out later.
Yes.
No, I
yes.
feel honoured. I feel honoured to be
You are
here.
honoured. You are honoured. And I've
Okay.
been saying since the start, I wanted
Yeah.
to get you on. It's just like working it out. So yeah, our first female person, and it's. I guess I've always wanted to. I never wanted it to be just about men. So it is really good to have you on. And not only are you a woman with woman bits, you're a qualified counsellor as well.
Oh, I am.
Which makes you doubly interesting. And you're really fucking interesting anyway.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you
Okay.
are.
So you guys used to work together, right?
Yeah. I think we started working together 7 or 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't been working together now for about 3 years.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. And then in between that, basically, me and Helen shared a room most of the time. And I think Helen knows absolutely everything about me, pretty much.
I think it's the same the other way around as
Yeah,
well.
I think it is, yeah.
We've had some moments.
Yeah, we have. We've definitely had some moments when like there was no one else in the room. Helen and I were just like fucking... But like, fuck, I can't deal with this shit. And it's like all the time going through my wife having cancer as well. Like Helen was definitely someone who kind of had my back, and yeah, vice versa at times. Yes, and we're gonna have Simon on soon as well.
My husband.
Helen's
old man.
husband. Yes,
He's an interesting character.
he's an interesting character. He's been really lovely actually. He's like the other day he just messaged me to say, I just thought I'd message you to say I care. And I thought, how sweet
that's
is that?
amazing. I love
That's really nice. People should do shit like that. It's really nice.
Definitely, a lot more.
So before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to Tina Hall. That's Tina Hall, someone who Helen and I work with. She's one of the most chavvy people in Basildon. No, she's not really. But she was. She had a go at me the other day for not giving her a shout out, and I was like, well, "Why would I give you a shout out?" But apparently I should. So there you go,
Oh, what,
Tina.
so we're under instruction.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
from now on, every time we do shout outs, we'll put her on the list and she'll get read out every week.
No.
Oh, all right.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that. So, it started fucking ages ago. So, right, let's get started on you then, Helen. So I thought the first thing I would say to get us on the roll is, you're a counsellor. Do you have many men and women?
More women than men.
You do?
Yeah. And it's really different, counselling men than women.
In what way?
In the way that women seem to be much more used to talking about their feelings and digging deep, and men come in with a bit of a notion of this is not right. It's not the right thing to do to come in and talk about my feelings.
Right.
We kind of break through that quite quickly, to be fair.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And I feel like actually my more successful clients, like the ones that I feel really, really good about and really proud about, tend to be more men than women.
Is that because of that though? Because
Yeah,
you have a
probably.
breakthrough?
Thing,
Probably.
So it
Because
feels
the
like
breakthroughs feel fantastic.
a breakthroughs. For them.
Yeah.
And for them as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's the big bit, isn't it? Everyone
Yeah.
wants a breakthrough. Yeah. So what? They kind of come around fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So how do you go about how does that work?
How does it work?
Have you got like is it CBT that's like the 6
No,
weeks or
it's not
12
CBT,
weeks
is
or
it?
something? Like, what's the actual structure?
No,
of it?
there's no structure really. It depends. I work with a lot of children. That's my main kind of thing at the moment, is that I'm working with like 3 different children's charities, but I've got my own private clients as well. So it just depends what they come with really and what they want to do. I'm not really just pure CBT. I'm not pure anything. I tend to go quite instinctively with
that's important.
what works.
Yeah. So it's more integrative.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's really important though.
Yeah.
You can't just do one or the other, because CBT, like for me, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
No.
it is a bit worrying because I've obviously signed up for therapy for you, and obviously I haven't heard back for like a million weeks or whatever. But
That's not unusual,
I'm kind of
unfortunately.
aware that it's only going to be like the certain amount of sessions or whatever. I've got a lot to talk about, but I think
Let's have
didn't
work.
you say like they have got the option, I think, to keep going or refer you on again, kind of thing. So
I suppose it depends on who you see. When I went to mine, but that was through therapy for you, and they offered me more. I don't know if it was my mum, if it was because my mum supervises the manager. That might have helped, but
Yeah, definitely.
No, I don't know. Like the guy who did it was pretty, like, I think it was off his back. He did it anyway.
oh, cool.
Yeah. So what got you into it then? How did
What
you
got
get
me into counselling? My own very poor mental health and working through that and having my own therapy. I was not well from quite a young age. Through my teens. My first hospitalisation was when I was 15. Nice. So it took me a long time to get the help that I obviously needed. Actually, not until I'd had my children. So I had my children quite young. I've got 2 children that I had when I was 18 and 19. And it wasn't until my early 20s that I'd had quite a few more hospital visits that I started to get the actual help that I needed. So I started off with some art therapy through the NHS.
Amazing.
Which I was really lucky to get on. I did that for about 3 years, and then the art therapist emigrated. So that group just kind of dissolved. And then I was very, very lucky to have 10 whole years of psychotherapy on the NHS, which nobody gets.
No, that's
I'm shocked by it. Like
Yeah.
I get 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think before I went to have it, I kind of talked to you about it.
Yeah.
And I was dubious because it was a group. Because I don't see how it can possibly be psychotherapy. Because there's no deep dive. But I still find it quite useful.
I suppose because in the group, you kind of, if you haven't been at school for a while or worked for a while or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're plunged into like a social situation that you might already be uncomfortable with, it's going to take a little bit longer for you to open up maybe. But then I guess the good thing is you might hear someone with a similar story, might bounce off each other and kind
That's the way it works. But I always kind of envisage, like, if you're doing 1-to-1, like you must have pulled every last thing apart.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Did you not?
You'd think so. I got to the end of that 10 years and thought, right, if I'm not fixed by now, I ain't never going to be. But then because you asked me about how did I get into counselling, when I started doing my counselling studies, you have to have some personal therapy to get through your qualification. And more stuff was coming up. And I'm like, hang on a minute. I've had 10 years of psychotherapy. I should be sorted by now. But no, like, I just think of it kind of like you're forever polishing the mirror to see yourself.
That's a nice way to put it.
And that never stops.
Yeah.
If that stops, you might as well lay down and die. If you don't want to find anything else about yourself, go
It's funny,
over.
because you messaged me a little while ago, didn't you? And said you hadn't been having that good a time, and I was like, you've always got to be working on it. So did you pull up things that you hadn't thought about?
Maybe different perspectives on things that I had thought about and thought I'd solved, like family stuff.
Yeah.
Which I guess as we grow and we mature, you look at things in a different way and you remember things in a different way. And being quite reflective, you end up going, was it all about that person? Have I pinned my entire life and all my excuses of why I feel so shit on that one person? Actually, you know, I'm an adult now, so why is that still affecting me?
So your point of view kind of changes.
Yeah.
You start to think, if I was in that situation, would I have done a similar
Yeah.
sort of thing? Or,
Absolutely.
Or you have
And
a bit
being
more
a parent,
understanding. Oh yeah, definitely.
Being a parent really makes you think about how your parents dealt with things and the struggles that they went through.
Yeah.
And it's a bloody hard job.
Oh, definitely. I
It's
tell my
really
mum, I
hard
try and
job.
tell my mum all the time now, and especially when we've had a few drinks, I go, thanks, mum. Like, that was well shit, wasn't it? But, like, we've got through the other side. Like, I kind of get it now. Like, I can
Yeah.
kind of understand. Like, the thought of her going through what I'm going through now with 2 young kids, and she was on her own as well, it's just unfathomable. It's mental. It's nuts.
It's so true, though. Your perspective does change as you grow up, sometimes in a good or bad way. So for me, in some ways, my perspective changed when I became a dad, and that made me kind of more angry with my dad, because it was like, well, I'm a fucking mess, but I'm doing better than you did. But then, yeah, I had a bit of a breakthrough with him recently, and I feel a little bit differently about that now. Because I just guess you just don't always take into account that everyone is going through their own bag of shit.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, even if you think someone's together, quite often they're still fucking dealing with things. So, I just think you have to give everyone a good fucking chance.
Do you think that changes how you speak to your own kids? Do you find yourself like second guessing stuff that you might think or do, or like reflecting on it a little bit afterwards?
Yeah,
I find myself like
absolutely.
saying things like, where the hell did that come from? Then I think, oh yeah, I'm saying that because my natural instinct is to say this. I normally find myself sort of going back and saying, well, you know, I said this. Also, think of it like that, and like try and give them a bit of a balanced argument. It must be confusing the hell out of them. But like even with Olive, I say, oh, you're so pretty. And I go, oh, and clever and strong and independent and brave. And Kate's like, she keeps catching me do it, and I can't help it. I'm quite happy that I am doing it because, not that it's such a bad thing, but like I just don't want to kind of do anything wrong, So I just try and say all of it at the same time in the hope that something might happen. I'll give her like a bloody identity crisis or something.
The important bit is that you thought about it and you care enough to think about it. I think like that's the important bit.
Yeah.
Like you will get it wrong and you'll fuck it up, but if you fuck it up but then go back and go, yeah, I'm sorry about that, then actually you're teaching them a really good lesson there, and that's the important bit. That's all that matters.
I think that first response is our like kind of conditioned response, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then afterwards you have a think about it and you go, why did I say that? Oh, I know, because my mum used to say that to me. And you kick yourself.
Especially in anger as
Yeah.
well. Some of the things I've said, and I can hear like my granddad, my dad, my mum. Like, what? Like I literally sound like I'm a 1950s housewife or whatever, screaming and shouting.
That's not me.
Yeah, I can't catch myself like, this is not good. I have to go and sort of remedy it.
So tell us a bit about. So how did you end up in hospital at 15?
Tried to kill myself, like you do.
And
That weren't the first time, actually. But that was the first. I think it's such a long time ago. I think I like called the Samaritans or something and went, I've taken a load of pills and they sent an ambulance out. And yeah, it was not a pleasant experience being on an adult unit, mental health unit of the hospital. That was pretty scary.
Yeah, we had another guy on a little while ago, Brad Humble, who said about his experience and how just the experience of being on the unit was like quite enough to kind of put things into perspective for him. And I think I need to get strong here because in many ways I don't want to end up like the other people who are already here.
Yeah.
So when did you start feeling shit then?
Don't know, probably about 10, I reckon.
Yeah, similar time to me.
I mean, it's that entering the puberty.
Yeah.
Everything starts getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah. And then it just starts to feel...
Yeah.
Because I imagine a lot of your kind of issues are probably pretty similar to mine, as in not feeling good enough or feeling like you're shit.
I think it's as well being, because you're creative, you're both creative people, and it tends to make you a little bit more sensitive. And I used to really hate that word when I was growing up, because I was constantly told you're oversensitive, you turn on the tears like a tap, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And actually, I was just feeling things really deeply from a young age. And I'm a big believer in, like, families end up with one person, maybe two people, but one person that's like the conduit in the family that kind of holds all that emotion, all that stress. And it's too much for some people to hold. You can't do it. And
So was that you?
yeah, that was me. I was the conduit.
You were, but you were a
I
kid.
feel like it. Yeah.
You had a sister.
I've got quite a big family, actually. I've got 2 sisters and a brother. And
And how,
middle child syndrome.
Oh, you were in the
basically.
middle.
Yeah.
So you were like holding it together, like for everyone.
I felt like it. I mean, I'm
right.
talking to my brothers, my brother and my sisters and my parents. They might have a
They probably
totally
wouldn't see
different.
it that way, but if you felt that way, then
I
that's,
felt
then that's
like
what
it.
matters.
And I remember, like, kind of looking after my sister a lot and looking after my brother. And when my mum would introduce me to people, she'd introduce, oh, this is Helen, she's my little mummy. And it's like, you know, I kind of felt like I took that role on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of, oh, I've got to look after everyone then.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's those little seeds that we plant in our kids.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange,
Not
isn't it? Yeah.
deliberate. Not
No.
deliberate at all.
No, it's just a cute
No,
little
exactly.
thing.
And she probably thought she was
Throwaway
being lovely
comment.
saying that
Yeah.
kind of thing as well, you know, like giving you credit for what you've done. But yeah, you could see how that would put the weight on. But you had a difficult, like, family life, though, didn't you?
Yeah. I think.
Do you mind me going into this?
No,
bit?
I don't mind. So my mum left my dad, my biological dad, and kind of, from what I understand, whisked us away, like, quite swiftly, possibly in the middle of the night. I don't know, she don't really like to talk about it, so it's one of
fair
those
enough.
things that you never really get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
But that was difficult, that relationship that I had with my biological father, because we used to still see him. He would visit us, or we would go and stay with him. He was a unusual character, like a bit criminal, like a little bit.
A bit weird.
Yeah, like, you know, vans turning up in the middle of the night, unloading loads of meat. And
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah.
He was scrappy and all that kind of stuff. But and I pinned a lot of my hatred on him, actually, for many, many years. And now, in my adult life, I feel like he weren't perfect by any means, but no parent is perfect. I wouldn't even say he did good enough, but I'm at peace with it. I'm at peace with what,
as you say, it's a difficult situation. You've gone away with your mum,
so
you're only going to see him. You're not going to see him as much as you probably would expect to. Probably.
No.
So whatever happens, he's always going to be in the wrong, isn't he? Because you were taken away.
He would never contact me enough, and I remember around the time when I in my teens, when I was getting quite unwell, I wrote him this big letter, and, like, you know, where you laugh, like, you've done this and you've done that, and you never rang me, and you know, like, why have you not made an effort? And he actually responded to that letter and said, well, why haven't you made the effort?
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was
get
going to...
That's a big old mistake he made there, but...
I know, the problem is, though, were you like, well, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you weren't looking at it like a dad.
No.
You were looking at it as a poor me.
No.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but you're the dad and you shouldn't do that. But yet, we would say, like, if that's how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, when you're the ill person, you go, oh, that's how I felt. And that's why that's significant and it counts. At the detriment of how everyone else feels. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. So you're totally right. It's like you do have to just go, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, like, I can either make it hurt me forever, or I can just go, enough now.
And I think, like, with my counselling head as well, I really try and have empathy and compassion for everyone. So even, like, my dad, I'll go, like, oh, well, what was his generation like? You know, they weren't all lovey-dovey towards each other and, like, the best, most nurturing parents. So what have you got to go by?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know. But don't you get? I get frustrated with that as well because it's like, then you just forgive everyone for everything forever, and like in many ways, I suppose that's what we should do. You know,
Not
like
always
I suppose.
forgiveness. I think like finding. This is going to sound like proper hippy dippy, but I think they say like finding a little bit of love for them, even if it's in your own certain way. Like, even to say like, oh, like he was of his generation kind of thing. That's enough to go. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll give you that, and then just sort of park it in that direction, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, just fight if you can like aim a little bit of love in that kind of direction, in whatever form that looks like. For me, anyway, that kind of work. I'm still trying to get my head around like how to do it with a lot of people. Some of the people I hate the most, especially at work. But then you have to think like, oh, they're this way, that way, because of this and because of that and everything else. You just kind of got to like process it and park it in your own brain.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think I kind of call that acceptance.
Yeah.
It's just the acceptance that things are as they are, or they were as they were. You can't do anything about it, and all the time you're kind of trying to. You're just hurting yourself.
Yeah. And it can. It's like a continuation of the situation as well. So, like, if it's a bad situation of just say, like the mum is kind of like, oh, he's done this and he's run away kind of thing. That's the script that you learn from it, and that's the trajectory that you'll keep going on kind of thing, regardless of like what happened. Like, it could have been like the sweetest man in the world or whatever. That script, you'll kind of grab it and take it with you, and it can be hard to change because it's your mum that said it.
Yeah.
So you have to start challenging your mum all of a sudden. Like, for me, a lot of the breakthroughs really I had were not always face to face, but in my mind, and then a little bit more recently face to face, is actually saying like, this kind of makes sense now. I kind of understand that happened. And then as soon as she starts talking, you get the other side perspective. Like, I never knew any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, now it's changed. You can kind of rewrite the script with it a little bit. It's got like a lot less power, and then it kind of allows you to just get on with like the future and the rest of your life, kind of thing.
Yeah, just the idea of narratives. Like, everything's got a narrative.
Yeah.
And more often than not, you'll pick the narrative that serves you. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that narrative helps you.
Absolutely.
So quite often it's like, it's a really shit narrative. But yeah, if you can kind of push it away, especially like if you're like, oh, I'm fucking fucked up, and then you want to find somewhere to push the blame, because it's got to be some way of understanding it and making sense of it. Thus you push the blame onto your parents. Yeah. You know? That's the way we do it, but not always very helpful to you.
No. Sometimes it's easy and comfortable, though, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just easy to go, oh, that's your fault or his fault or their fault or whatever. But it's not always the way forward, is it, really?
So then what happened? So Who was the bastard, man?
Who's the bastard, man?
There was someone who was really horrible. There was a bloke. Was it?
My stepdad, when he was growing up, was really difficult.
It wasn't nice to you.
I felt like he wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
Not even that he wasn't nice. He was very cold. There wasn't cuddles or anything like that. And I don't actually remember much like kind of dialogue with him growing up. It's like you live in a house with each other. And it's just
my dad.
Stony silence quite a lot of the time. And then when he was talking, it felt like he was just digging all the time. And he used to do this thing where he'd like poke me like right in the step. Right. You know, in future you will do this. And it's like, getting you right in the heart. But yeah, I mean, my mum's still with my dad. She'll probably listen to this. Hi, Mum. But
we've been quite wild.
This is nothing that she doesn't already know. And again, I feel at peace with him now. It's not even so my narrative about the men in my life and like growing up for a really long time was, well, I just hate men then. I really hate men. And it was when I was doing my counselling, I actually eliminated the word hate from my vocabulary. Yeah. And I don't use that word.
What when you training?
Yeah. Because this was stuff that came up. Like, well, you're saying you hate men all the time. And it was like someone like you that's like disproved it. Well, I don't hate men. I don't hate women. About Nick. I don't hate Nick. And even my like counselling tutor was a guy, and he was really nice and he was really compassionate. I'm like, hang on. This is like two people. So, yeah, so I don't really use the word hate anymore. I don't necessarily love everyone.
No.
Sometimes I'm just neutral, and that's okay.
That's really cool. I like that. I like that a
See,
lot.
it's fair, but you say that, and I was thinking that earlier. I think when Brad was talking, was that I don't really hate anyone.
No.
I don't like. I kind of. I suppose I kind of hate my granddad and my nan, and but in some way, I know that I've got to get past that, and then I'll start feeling even better.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it easier to focus hate in one place. That way, I don't spread hate everywhere else. So there has been a lot of people in my life who I've hated, and now I just don't. I just don't. Like, there's been people I hated. Someone got in touch with me on Instagram recently, and I hated them. And they were like, "Oh, really, what you're doing is amazing. I really love what you like."
Oh, that's
I
so
felt those feelings, and your talk about suicides really touched me. And I was like, "I don't hate you anymore." And then I replied with compassion and respect, and I was like, "That was really easy." So I found myself just going, "No, I don't hate anyone. Like, I don't need to hate people,
No.
because hate is that's all about you. It's got nothing to do with the other person at
No, of
all.
course.
It's about you, just kind of, and then you kind of.
It's just a poison as well. It's
Yeah.
like feeling hate in your body and in your system. That's just a poison. That
It
you
feels
don't want
horrible,
rattling
doesn't
around
it?
in
No,
your
it
system.
Yeah, exactly. It feels horrible in your chest, and actually you just don't need to. And all you do is you rehearse it, don't you? You rehearse that hate. So I totally agree with that. That's a good bit of advice, everybody. It's
great advice.
Try and let go of
Stop
hate.
hating.
That is an amazing bit of advice, though, that I think like everyone can get something from. And like if you stop hating, then you can learn to accept people a little bit more. And then just try and also, that element of trying to kind of think, well, what are they going through? And then it's easier to not
I
hate.
don't mean you have to like 100% forgive and be all like hippie and oh my god,
No, you
just
don't have to
gloss over the truth
no.
of people that have hurt you. But you might just be able to get to a place where you just feel neutral about it,
Yeah.
and that's all right. You can live with that.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
a little bit easier to live with feeling neutral about someone than hate. That takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and it hurts. It feels horrible, and it makes you tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. It's funny you go, that's all right. Like, that is one of the things I think I learned from you, and working together, and you'd be like, well, that's all right, you can deal with it. That's all right. And then I find myself saying that to other people now.
You do say
I'm
that.
going, that's all right, you can do that. Like, oh, I feel shit, but that's all right.
Yeah.
You feel shit now, you don't mean you're going to feel shit tomorrow. And it's so true. It's like, don't give it so much weight. Shrug your shoulders, don't give it so much weight. It doesn't really matter. So what other nuggets have you learnt along the way?
What other nuggets?
Do you mind me smoking?
No? Was that the right answer? I don't know. What else? I don't know. It's about finding balance with everything, really, isn't it?
That's what we saw. We interviewed Eddie Temple Morris recently, and he was very much talking about balance.
Yeah.
It's like something could be really shit there, but something will be really good there, and it will balance it out. That way you don't need to worry.
I like what you said
Shit
about
balances out.
accepting the fact that there's darkness in the world, and it's just as important as the light sometimes, and it can be hard to get our heads around because like the heroes in films and stuff like that against the baddies and stuff, but like being able to just like get the balance of darkness and light and sort of see it for what it is and just accept it is pretty important. I've been thinking about that a lot lately.
Again, it's like just pulling the weight out of it, pulling the
Yeah.
strength and the emotion out of things, because they don't really need to be there a lot of the time. No, they don't. So, how many times did you go to hospital then?
I honestly lost count.
Really?
Probably about
What,
10,
like admitted
15.
and like legitimate suicide attempts type thing?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Sometimes a week at a time, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. Unbelievably though, and I know you're having Simon on, we never met each other.
Yeah.
In all the time that we was like,
Wow.
because he's had several hospitalisations as well, and we never met each other, which is quite weird really, I
But
think.
didn't you meet off the back of...
We met at Mind Mental Health Drop-In Centre. That's how we actually met. I always love telling people that story. Where did you meet? Drop-in centre.
That sounds fucking proper rock and roll, doesn't it?
I like that.
It's like you met
It
at
wasn't.
rehab.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No, I, you know what? I spent a lot of time as a child in the Greys drop-in centre, like helping with make sandwiches and just generally bumming around there because my mum would take me to school holidays if there was no one to look after me. I spent a lot of fucking time at mines. Maybe it all rubbed off.
That's
Maybe
amazing.
it did. Yeah, I did. I didn't used to like it. I used to find it quite scary because you get like people who are reasonably together, then you get people who are really unwell. But you also get people who have got like learning difficulties and things like that. So you get like, you know, like as you would traditionally think of as the weirdos who live down the street who stand out shouting at cars. You get a lot of people like that, and as you're a kid, that's quite scary because you can't make sense of it.
Different from the norm, like your day-to-day kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, so it's quite weird. So that's what. So you met Simon, but then you kind of then looked after Simon a lot, didn't you? Really?
Yeah. I mean, when we met, I was actually probably the wellest I'd been for a long time. And, like, I'd split with my kid's dad, like, the year before. And I'd had this whole year to myself. I was still doing all my psychotherapy and all that in that time. But I'd had this whole year to just kind of stand on my own 2 feet. And it was really useful. And if I wanted to take my kids to McDonald's at 9 o'clock at night, I'd do it. And I didn't have anyone kind of wagging their finger at me. So that was really good. And then I really was not looking to meet anyone at all. And
I can't ever imagine you and Simon not being together though.
I know.
It really fit.
and it was, I know it sounds
It
really,
is strange.
it don't sound bad, but it was like one of those like instant things.
Ah.
Like the day that I met him, I literally went home that day and said to my mum, I've met the man I'm going to marry
That's
today.
so
Really?
cool. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's so good.
I know.
Oh yeah,
It was kind of special.
Yeah, I love
Then,
stuff
then
like
When
a
you
month
meet Simon,
later, he
you-
was in hospital because
Yeah.
I'd just met him on the cusp of a manic high. So
Yeah. Simon's like not like us in that way. Like we're miserablists. You don't.
oh,
You're
he's
not.
pretty miserable as well.
But you're not like you don't have like dips and highs, do you?
No. I mean, I've been really well for a really long time.
Yeah.
I've not had any medication since
Yeah. No. That's,
2001, I think.
Wow.
And I was on a lot of medication. I was on injections and everything. But yeah, I seriously think, and this is why I went into counselling, is for me, that therapy was the lifesaver.
Okay.
Even though it was long and it was arduous and it was like 10 years of my life every single week going there, they never gave up on me. And I don't know, I kind of learnt not to give up on myself. And so you keep going. And like, even if you only get like 6 or 8 sessions and you get to the end of that, ask for more. Ask for something else. What else have you got? Keep going and keep going and keep going.
the thing is though, I found like for me, I had to be, for me to like. Well, it's not. I guess the times when I've really engaged with, like, because I've had periods when I've had therapy and I don't think I'm necessarily engaged that well. Like, I've been young, you know, like I had like quite an intensive batch of therapy when I was 14 and I don't really think I engaged with it. I didn't really understand what they were talking about. Kept asking me about my family and I didn't know how that works. I didn't understand it. So I just thought like I'm just sitting here bitching. I didn't really understand it. And then I had some years later, saying up when I was about 18, 19. And again, I was in the same kind of position then. I was like, I wasn't really ready. And then the times when it really, really worked was when I was fucking desperate. I was like, I cannot handle my brain any longer. And then you just go, and then you're like, right, this is finished. I'm on the train now. I'm not fucking giving up. Give me something else. Let's keep going with it. Refer me there. And like you just really engage with it because you're like, I can't do it. I can't keep going as I am. And it just makes all the difference, doesn't it? It's a shame you have to get at that point, but I kind of feel like you do. Like, I've been hassling Brad to have therapy, and it's like until you're at the point when you're like, I can't do anything else now. Do you think that's right?
I don't know. It's going back to that like polishing the mirror thing. Every time you will have had any kind of therapy, you've polished a little bit of the mirror. You might not feel like you have at the time, and then there's been, you saying about like not going and maybe not taking it seriously. When I was doing my counselling training, the first block of counselling that I had, I was an absolute dick to the woman. I was like, I'm going to trick you, I'm going to tell you a load of old shit and see where we go.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I was awful. But I learned a lot about myself. I learned how bloody manipulative I can be and like what a ball bag I can be.
It's just part of the process, like the beginning of the learning.
Yeah.
It's like shedding away the layers of the onion kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose if you turn up, then you're going to get something.
Yeah.
It's like if you fuck
It might
it
not
off.
be what you expect, but you'll get something.
Yeah. Because like now, whenever I talk to anyone about counselling, I'm like, you've got to throw yourself into it. Like, because some bits sound cheesy, some bits sound obvious. But like now, like I find when I'm having psychotherapy, they'll say something, and it's like I've heard it 100 times, but they just said it then. I'm like, fuck.
Like right time, right place kind of thing.
And like that's what, because you've matured, you've had different experiences from one day to the next, and you're like, oh shit. I have moments like that all the time now. I really do. Just like, oh shit, I did. Just look at it very slightly differently, and then suddenly that clicks in, and something else clicks in. Because like now, I feel like I'm the best I've ever been. Like, I've never felt so good, and I just don't really have. Like if I dip, it's just for like a day at the most. Sometimes not even that. You know, like I dip.
Does it feel
sometimes.
weird, like not feeling how you used to feel?
Yeah. Just because what I find myself thinking the way I used to think, and I'm like, oh shit, that's what I used to do, and I don't like that. Those are the weird. It's weird in that way, like that. Just kind of you catch yourself doing what you used to do, like getting angry and hating and all of that shit, and then you think, oh shit, yeah, I don't do that anymore. I forgot. You know, like you forget. Oh yeah, that's what I used to be all the time. Like I always used to go to sleep thinking about killing people, and now quite often I lay there and I think, oh, I don't know what to think about. Because that person I used to think about killing, I'm not angry with them anymore. So like, I go to sleep and I'm like, what am I going to think about?
Amazing.
And like, I can't get to sleep because I can't think about killing people. And I'm like, I don't want to think about killing people anymore. And I used to find that really comforting. You know, like that anger and that darkness is really comforting and alluring. But I just I'm like, now I kind of think it's really horrible. It feels like a horrible thing. When before it felt lovely. But I suppose it didn't feel lovely, did it?
Just whatever was comfortable.
It just felt
and warm
dark.
to you. Yeah.
It's like wearing a big old cloak around yourself. Isn't it?
And I suppose it's that attraction to the dark
Yeah.
side. But it's funny though, because like Helen and I quite often, like if we're watching a scary film, we'll message each other and go, oh, have you seen this? Do that all the time. And yeah, because we both really like horror movies. Like the more disturbing the better. And like that, and I suppose like you just throw your darkness into that. But now even sometimes watching horror movies, I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
have you ever found that?
Yeah.
It's just a bit like, just don't appeal to me in the same way.
I suppose like 'cause you probably start to see through the smoke and mirrors of it all, especially with so much like CGI and stuff like that.
No, it's not that. I think it's that I used to hang myself on it. So like you'd watch something really dark and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a bit of me. I'm a mess like that. You know, like, and I kind of almost hang myself on it as though I'd find it a comfort, or it would be like it would be comfortable, I guess. And now I'm a bit like, and I'd kind of rather watch something where like kind of
rom-com.
No, not a rom-com. Well, I'm not gone that far. I like an American indie film that's like got feelings in it.
That's the bit I think. I'll watch different films now than I used to. I used to just watch horror all the time. That was it. because it only used to make me feel one way. It used to make me feel angry. It used to make me feel hateful. It used to make me feel destructive, whether it's destroying someone else or destroying myself. And it's like now I want to feel something else. I want to feel a range of emotions. I want to feel like light and happy and positive and like life's actually worth living now. I mean, that's quite nice. That's quite a nice feeling, you know. Life's worth living.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's funny because I've definitely started feeling much more like that. I don't feel like I want to destroy myself so much. I don't feel nearly as self-destructive. Like someone said to me the other day about smoking. Like a guy Mark I work with, he's really cool, and he was going, and he just said, "Oh, I kind of wish you didn't smoke." And like not for any reason, just that he said, "I just don't. I hate to think of you getting ill and dying."
Yeah, I do feel a bit like that.
And I was like, for years, I'm like, well, this is, that's why I am smoking. And now I'm a bit more like, well, actually, that's not what I want anymore. Like, now it's like, I don't want to do those little incremental things that might kill me. Kind of now I'm like, no, actually, I kind of want to see it through, which is really, really different. Like,
That's huge.
yeah, it is really different for me because I was just like, I've been fixated on death since I was really, really young, not obsessed with it. And now I'm like, maybe I don't want to.
It's amazing.
But then I think because of that, other good things have started to happen to me. Like other things, just because you kind of have a more positive outlook, then I think what happens, you start noticing the good things. When you're kind of really dark and self-destructive, you just don't notice them. Well, you're not looking for them because you're actually looking for things to confirm the opposite.
You're looking for reinforcement of your beliefs that everything is awful.
Yeah.
Self-actualizing thing and that.
And then you go back and you think, oh yeah, my dad did this. And
see, that proves it. Yeah.
And I've done that for my whole life. And I just don't do it as much. Like you genuinely seem different.
I feel different.
Yeah, you do.
I feel like I've had
brighter.
more than one life in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had this life now, and the ill life.
Yeah.
And the ill life is over.
Yeah.
It almost feels like I know it's not a different person, but it feels like a different person because talking to people now and meeting people now and kind of mixing in the circles that I do now, whenever I do say anything about like, you know, my childhood or being in and out of hospital, they're like, really? Wow.
Yeah, I know, but like people have always said that to me. They've always said, "Oh, you're a bitter bastard," because I was always kind of angry.
Yeah.
But people were, because I'm always kind of quite loud and I play a joker and that, people tend to, they think that, the last thing they think is that, they might not think I've got it sorted, but the last thing they'd think is that I've got a death wish and that I can't stop thinking about killing myself. So like with you, like you come across like as quite outgoing, really nurturing.
Definitely, yeah.
So I could see that they might not think it, but like for me, I can't see through that shit.
Yeah.
No, you do though, don't you? If you are that way, you tend to see other people.
And I've
like
not
that.
always been like this either. Like even like my best mate, when I first met my best mate in 2007, she says now, like when she met me, it was almost like there was a little bit of me missing, and she couldn't quite put her finger on it. And like at the time, I had no friends at all. I didn't really go out. I didn't really do anything. And then I just got involved in like a dance class and made all these really amazing female friends. And we're all so close now. But when they all first met me, they were like, there's something not quite right about you. And we don't know what it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, amazing they were able to say that though. That's really cool.
They weren't able to say at the time because
No.
I'd have probably throat punched.
Yeah, Helen used to be like... Helen,
I had quite a stony
You could get quite angry, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I've never ever known you that way,
no.
but things you've told me
Yeah.
suggest that you have been quite angry.
Yeah.
And like you'd have it if someone fucking tried it. You wouldn't believe it, would you?
No, because I'm so fluffy now. So
Yeah.
we all grow up, we all change.
That's it. That's part of it, I suppose. What's your like day to day like Because you mentioned you're working with kids at the moment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I work with 3 different children's charities. That's where the most of my counselling work comes from. So I'm in and out of schools. I work for a young carers charity as well. So they're all carers for their parents that might have mental health problems or physical
Amazing.
problems.
Wow, that's really cool.
And that's lovely work.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really, really lovely work. Because they're all going through their normal childhood stuff or
Yeah.
teen stuff. And they've got this added burden of,
Being a
they
parent
have to go
almost.
home and cook the dinner and sort the meds out for their parents and that. It's
Yeah, I had to do that for my dad. It's a mad old time, really. It's funny how instinct just kicks in and you
Yeah.
just get on with it.
Yeah.
But it must be really sad to see in like 10-year-olds, 11, 12, 13.
younger, even younger.
Wow,
Yeah, we've got like a
incredible.
primary group and
Oh
everything.
my
So
goodness.
real little ones.
Yeah.
I think the thing is though, when instinct kicks in like that, you shut everything else out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're kind of like instinct, right? I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to do this. You don't think about yourself, and you just shut it all out. And you could do that for years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then one day it's like bang. That's
Yeah.
what happened with Sarah. Her cancer. It's like shut everything out. Bosh. And then it ends and you go crash.
Yeah.
So like almost like you're giving them an opportunity to offload
Yeah. Yeah.
and not
it's-
feel guilty.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like going back to what I'm saying about balance, and it's certainly not my idea, but it's something I kind of live by that I got from my counselling supervisor. And this is what I do with the kids, is you think about yourself like a bank account. Like you've got withdrawals coming out, all the stuff that you do for other people, all the stressful stuff in your day-to-day life. And then you've got deposits, which is the nice stuff that you do for yourself to kind of balance out
That's brilliant.
the withdrawals. And if you don't, what happens is you end up in debt.
Yeah.
And when you end up in debt, that's when you're crashing down. That's when you're having all those irrational thoughts. It's when you're not sleeping. It's when you're not eating properly.
It's funny because you mentioned that to me, but I think it was on a message, so I didn't get you to explain it, and now you explain it, like that makes sense.
I love that.
But that
It's so easy. It's a really easy way to
Yeah,
understand about, you've got all these things that you have to do. Not all of them you have to do. Some of them you could choose actually not to do, but a lot of the stuff that we do in our day-to-day life, you just have to crack on with, don't you?
Daily habits.
But you have to balance it out. You have to put the good stuff back in. And that might be going for a walk, listening to some music, eating something nice. When I was first sort of playing around with it, some of the things that you think are deposits are not deposits.
Oh, in what way?
Like, oh, I know, I'll go home and I'll treat myself to a bottle of wine tonight.
Yeah.
And I'll do the lot. And that'd be really nice. That'd
Yeah.
be a nice little deposit. It's not a deposit because you wake up feeling like shite the next day.
Self-destructive.
Or I'm going to drive home and I'm going to eat 4 quarter-pounders on the way home because that'll be a nice treat, or a big bar of chocolate. And it's like, no, it's not. You're not treating yourself. You're treating yourself badly.
Yeah.
Do the stuff that, even though it's a chore, going to the gym. I never go to the gym, but doing a bit of exercise,
It can only
doing
be
something.
positive, I suppose,
Yeah,
saying,
doing the good things that we should all do
Yeah.
to help ourselves are deposits in our bank. And all the kind of the nice fluffy
So basic-
spiritual stuff as well.
so. Oh, that's quite interesting.
I
So
love that. It's so good.
so if the deposit
Yep.
is something that essentially where the balance of the deposit,
Yeah.
if the balance of the deposit like a bottle of wine and you feel like shit
Yeah.
the next day,
Yeah.
then like so then it's not a deposit.
It's more of a
because
withdrawal than a
actually you feel
deposit.
shit
It's
on the other
temporary
end
as
of it
well, isn't it?
anyway.
Or like hanging out with friends.
Yeah, but like I do really agree. It's funny because you do have to break things down into things like that. Otherwise, it's too big. It's too big a thing. I remember when I first started therapy a few years ago, not with Peter or anyone I've recently, but a guy, Chris, who was also amazing. And he was, he would say, it's really important to engage with your core values. It's like, so let's try and think about what your core values are. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Honesty.
Abstract concept, isn't it? It could be anything. You could
I
say
believe in
carrots.
honesty.
Mud.
I don't know. I don't know what any of that is.
Yeah.
But it basically it boiled down to doing the things you like doing.
Yeah.
Because if you do the things you like doing, it makes you feel good. And like we had someone who got in touch with us, Jeff. Hello, Jeff, if you're listening.
Hi, Jeff.
He was having loads of problems, and it was like, I was just like, are you doing any things you like doing? And just do the things you like doing and make sure you do them, and do them as much as you can. Because it is as simple as that. And that's the deposit analogy, isn't it? Like you do, play the guitar for a little bit.
Absolutely.
You can't do it all the time, but you might be able to grab 5 minutes there, you might be able to grab 5 minutes there. And while you're doing it, because you like it, you're not thinking about all the other shit. So it gives you a little break. And that's why I like stuff like gym's good, because you're not, because you're engaging with something, you're not thinking. Someone at work today was talking about yoga, and they were saying how good, like they did blindfold yoga.
Wow.
And how good that was, because if everyone's blindfolded, you're not thinking about your big ass, what you look like when you're in a weird position.
Other people.
Because everyone else is blindfolded. So you throw yourself into it, and if you're throwing yourself into it, you're not thinking about all the shit. And it's like, give your brain a chance to rest. And that's that's basically meditation. Essentially. Yeah, I like that analogy.
I like that. Little things like that you can kind of take away. Because I'll remember that. Because my short-term memory is all over the place. Like when you can remember the little bits and bobs from it all. That's really, really cool. And
But
it makes
it's often
sense.
like, if you're feeling like crap, ask yourself, am I in debt at the moment?
Yeah.
Am I in debt? Do I need to like do some deposits here?
Yeah. And that is what life's about, really.
And if you feel like crap, you probably are in
Absolutely.
debt. So now I need to kind of go and do a couple of things that I like doing because it'll make me feel better.
Yeah.
So it's really straightforward.
Yeah.
And I think the people who seem to have it reasonably sorted tend to be the people who just do that naturally.
Maybe, yeah. I think it's pulling yourself out of the clouds that you're in to be able to sort of stand back and say, I feel like this because of that. I'm now going to try this. Because quite often I find I'm so busy going, this is that, that's that, this is that, that's that. And it's only when like it stops, or like it comes to the evening and I sort of sit for a second, or when we're doing this actually, funnily enough, that I get a chance to sort of actually just sit and reflect for a minute. Then I start to think, yeah, that makes sense. I couldn't see it at the time because it was like the mist or whatever. But now I can kind of reflect and I think of it because of that and that way kind of thing. And it's taking time to... Yeah, I suppose that is the same sort of thing. Just reflecting on yourself for a minute and not focusing on what's sort of in front of your eyes.
And it's quite hard because I think the way the world is set up, it's just not set up in that way, is it?
No.
Because everything around you is almost just telling you you're not good enough. So it just like the paradigm doesn't really work. And it's funny because today I was also saying, like in that conversation about yoga, was that, and I'm like, and I can't believe I said it because it's just so not me. But I'm like, all of that stuff is the way to go. Like it's like being cynical isn't the way to go. Being cynical and saying, like, oh, that's all airy-fairy bollocks. Like, that's why we're in the state we're in.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you don't have to go, I'm a spiritual person. But actually, all of those things are about investing in yourself more than anything else.
And giving it a go without judging it as well, I think.
Because they're actually just about you doing something for you. And I just think we've all lost sight of that. And it's like, I'm learning more and more that's the way to go. I did my breathing this morning, this Wim Hof breathing thing.
I'm loving it, I am.
Yeah. So this is it. Eddie Temple Morris was a revelation in many, many ways.
Yes.
Particularly for me, because he's turned into my best mate. But on top of that, what he told us about the Wim Hof breathing thing, have you seen it? It's called the Iceman. Basically, he does this breathing thing, and it's really straightforward. You take in really deep breaths and let out. You go. So you're taking in more air than you're letting out.
All the way in and all the way out.
And then you hold your breath. And then you let it out. Another 30 times you do it again. Another 30 times you do it again. If you're really into it, you do press-ups and sit-ups in between. and you get to a point where you don't need to breathe as much.
Wow.
So you can hold your breath for fucking ages. But what it does, it increases. It basically increases endorphins and things like that. It just basically makes you happier.
Yeah, it charges you up with oxygen, and it makes your body alkaline as well, so you're less acidic. That's the balance thing again. Like you think like acid and alkaline, it's just readdressing, rebalancing your body, and it's amazing how like our breath is shorter because like we're nervous or stressed or tense or whatever.
That's totally true. Yeah, and that's how people that's brings on panic attacks, isn't it? It's the lack of breath. So anyway, we've both been messing around with it a bit because Eddie was pretty inspiring because he's like, I don't feel sad anymore. I just feel fucking electric.
Yeah.
And like we're like, hold on.
He's
and
essentially
pretty fucking
he's
electric.
basically like a sexy Yoda for us now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Anyway, so he said they do that, and then he goes into the shower, and then have a normal shower, and then he'll blast himself with cold water. And I did that this morning. And I'll tell you what.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking yeah. And I really did. And I had a proper bounce in my step, come down the stairs singing. I mean, I've been doing a lot more of that lately anyway. Like, I don't feel... But normally when I wake up in the morning, I feel anger. And I haven't felt that for a little while. It's pretty fucking... And I've had to get up earlier because my work... Now it's just I have to go in on time.
Sat out.
It's savage.
So true. But you do... So... I also find this really interesting of what you do. So you do tribal unity, that's right? Is it still tribal unity?
Yeah.
So what Helen does is she dances like this kind of tribal dancing, isn't it?
Wow.
But you've got like a little gang of you, I sound like I'm taking the piss. But like, I suppose you kind of got me into like, because you talked about that stuff. Yeah. It did kind of make me less cynical about it.
I want to know more. This sounds amazing.
If Helen does it, and because I just respect you. So it's like, well, it can't, it's got to be sung in it because I know Helen's not.
I love the thought of stuff like that. From what I gather,
it might not be what you think it is.
Okay.
No, tell him what it is then.
Well,
I used to take the piss.
It's like it's a fusion of belly dance styles. So it's kind of African, Indian, like classic Indian, Middle Eastern, Turkish, flamenco. There's a bit of flamenco in there, but the idea behind it is there's no choreography at all. It's all improvised. You learn the moves individually, and it's basically like learning another language.
Oh wow!
So it's tribal because there's always more than one of you.
Yeah.
And you basically, whoever's leading the tribe, everyone else follows. And there's like different little cues, like a turn of the head or something. But it's all about like non-verbal communication and sharing energy.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's very spiritual. So I can't speak Japanese, but I could go over to Japan and dance with someone that does the same style.
No way,
and we would be so
incredible.
in sync.
That's so cool.
It looks like it's choreographed, but it never is.
Wow.
It's like you're attached by strings. It's
yeah,
that's
I remember asking you about it. It's like, how do you know what to do? And you're like, well, you just kind of know.
Instinct.
And I'm like,
energy.
But then you think if you're with a group of people and you're all doing it all the time, I could understand that you. It's like what's the word? Like a collective conscience.
Yeah.
Conscious.
Yeah.
But then you can pick up. So like when your mate who you've known all your life, it's like goes, I'm gonna let's fuck off. And you're like, I was thinking the same. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Synchronicity.
Yeah. Yeah, I also liked it. So when we were at work, Helen started doing like getting groups of people together to make things.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was just the most simple idea, but and I was like, I'm fucking making things. I make loads of shit. And then he just went, Oh, it's kind of like, you know, like when tribes women would sit around and like
Sit in a circle,
Yeah.
making things,
Yeah, of
chatting,
course.
Yeah.
putting the worlds to rights.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's not a new idea by any means.
No.
but-
no, but then I
suppose
had
it's
a
like
penny
a-
drop and I was like, well, of fucking course.
It's like a leveler, because all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
all in the same situation, you're all doing exactly the same things. You start at the same point, and then you kind of deep dive into each other like everything else. That's so cool. It's like
And
it's
it just
like
makes
so
sense,
simple.
and it is. It's like those basic truths, those real basic things that we just
Yeah.
lost sight of, and getting worse now because actually we just do things on the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we don't see each other's faces, and we
No.
don't know, don't hear the tones of voices. So, Darren Garwood's, who we've had on before, he said he messaged me today and said, "Do you think the fact that no one's got any money and all the pubs are closed and everyone's drinking at home, do you think that makes the situation worse?" And my instant thought was, well, no, that's better because then people aren't going to have fights outside pubs. But then I thought, well, yeah, maybe then people aren't talking as much.
Yeah.
And then we are living in our little silos and we're not engaging. Because I think for me, like, when I came home tonight, I really could not be, I just wanted to sit down and do nothing. But then you get energised when you're around other people. It's like, you guys come around, we start talking, and now I've got lots of energy and everything, you know. And I think you get energised when you're around others.
That went really fast.
Fucking hell.
That went really fast.
What do you want to do? Should we carry on?
Yeah, if you want.
Are you right to stay? Should we do another?
Just keep going.
Okay.